Welcome to the all-new Sports Visions on Bounce TV and to our worldwide web viewers on www.sportsvisionsusa.com. Hello, everybody. I'm DJ Jones alongside my good friend and traveling partner. How are you, sir?
What's up, player?
Hey, man, we just got through with the best college football opening weekend of all time.
All time, DJ. Big-time games. Everything went as expected, man. And, you know, there's a lot of hot topics out there, but, you know, Alabama's still rolling. Georgia. Nick Chubb, DJ.
Absolutely. We'll get a chance to talk about and recap Alabama, Auburn, Georgia Tech, as well as the University of Georgia. But we'll also have an opportunity to talk about the NFL. And we had our golf tournament this past weekend.
And a great golf tournament. Great turnout, DJ. Over 100-plus golfers, man. Thanks to the folks at Raycon Media, Aflac, Mercedes-Benz of Columbus. All our sponsors, man. Had a big time, player.
All that and more coming up next on Sports Visions.
Selection now, saving now, value now. Columbus is Nissan Town, and the Nissan Now sales event is on now. Now, save $5,000 on a new Altima. That's right. Now, drive a new Altima, an IIHS top safety pick with $5,000 in savings. The best time to buy is right now.
Nissan Now sales event. Don't miss it. We'll see you soon. Headquarter Nissan.
Welcome back to Sports Visions opening week of college football, man. Again, it had to have gone down in history as one of the best. Of course, the lineups were tremendous. Unfortunately for the SEC, opened up about 5-5, you know, some big losses, man. And again, it's just the first week.
Just the first week, DJ, and everybody want to holler at the SEC. The SEC ain't so strong. But, you know, man, when you open up with big-time games, DJ, and everybody wants to beat you if you're from the SEC, it makes it a little harder. And, you know, like I say, man, and I guess we're going to be talking about it next, maybe not today, but that LSU piece is big. LSU messed up everybody from the SEC.
Tell you what we'll do, though. We'll go down through our lineup. Of course,
right.
You know who is near and dear to our hearts, the teams that you care about, the big schools in particularly. Let's start with the Georgia Tech. They went over to Dublin, Ireland, again, got a victory. And, of course, that got Paul Johnson back on the track because after last year's dismal season, a win is a win. A
win is a win, DJ. You know, to travel that far to get a win, that's a good thing about it. But the game was very close, you know, 17-10. And really, Georgia Tech didn't go ahead until late in the game. So, really, it was a good test for Georgia Tech, and I'm sure Paul, he wants to get better.
Everybody always says that the biggest difference or the best the football teams could always get between the first and the second game. So I know Paul Johnson is getting ready for the Mercer Bears.
I mean, I know he's going to get ready for these guys. But one good thing, you know, you start off with a hard game, then you come back with the cupcake game. But one good thing about the cupcake game, everybody gets to eat, DJ. You know, and everybody's get to play. You want to get some depth. You got to find some depth somewhere. You got to get better and improve on your mistakes that you made. And really, you get to kind of exhale a little bit. But most of all, the other kids get to play a lot.
And you know what, though? You can't take for granted. I don't care who you are. The bottom line is you got to go out and execute to the best of your ability. And I'm sure that's what Paul Johnson is preaching all week long to his kids as far as Mercer coming in, looking down on Mercer. But I think that I don't think Tech's in a position to look down on anybody.
I don't think they are either, DJ. But, you know, I'm sure they're being reminded this week how hard Appalachian State played against Tennessee and a recovery away from beating them. I'm thinking everybody's going to be well prepared.
While we were in Atlanta, let's go over to the Georgia Dome where you and I both had an opportunity to see the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Classic again. University of North Carolina Tar Heels came into the Dome, and they came ready to play. However, the Georgia Bulldogs showed me what we saw 2 Wednesdays ago when we went to practice in camp and saw the tempo and saw the passion, and we saw the hard work, the grit, the grind. Georgia Bulldogs pulled it out.
Pulled it out, DJ, and, you know, hats off to Nick Chubb. You know, really, there is no quarterback controversy if Nick Chubb is going to run the ball like he ran. 32 times, 222 yards, DJ. I mean, really, hats off to this guy for working his way back. But at the same time, DJ, you know, the offensive line was impressive to me. Very impressive with the offensive line. Defense, we got to get a whole lot bigger on defense, DJ, but they played with a tempo, which I like. And then the other piece, and this is going to knock any old Georgia Bulldog out, we don't have a kicking game, DJ. They got to work on the kicking game.
That's unfortunate that, again, it was the last time that the University of Georgia hadn't had a great kicker. But, you know, I was impressed with the secondary. Some excellent play on the backside.
That's right.
You know, even though you had a lot of young guys on the defensive front, But these guys are going to get better. You said they got to get bigger as well. But you know what? I think that the fight, the dog in that, the fight in that dog,
That's right.
we're going to get them through a lot of games this year because you know what? They fell behind and they came from behind. And again, they faced adversity, and I love it because you got a first-year coach. You got some kids that are buying into his system. He's changing the culture, and we saw right away, but that they never quit. They came out after halftime, and it was a different ball game.
Well, it was a different ball game, DJ. Even though North Carolina came out and ran a kickoff return all the way back, they still had their composure. They still had their passion. They still had the intensity. They actually turned up the intensity. And one good thing about having a good running game, DJ, to me is that you control the game a whole lot more on both sides of the football. And I think they're going to continue to get better, but I was really impressed with the offensive line.
Absolutely. And again, Nicholls State coming into town. You can't let up, just like we said with Georgia Tech and Mercer. Hey, Nicholls State is coming in. No, it's not an SEC opponent, but they're still an opponent, and the University of Georgia's football team is still in just week 2, and they need to execute on all levels.
They need to execute, DJ, work on, improve on the mistakes, of course, but at the same time, they're going to get to play some more people because really their defensive line, I felt they got tired a little bit at the end of the game, DJ, and that's that depth, that big depth that Kirby talked about all through the summer. They got to get some more depth there. They got to get some depth in the inside linebacker piece. And hats off to Maurice Smith. I see why Nick was trying to keep him over there. And he made 2 big-time plays. But, DJ, is one thing I didn't like about the secondary. I saw a lot of deep receivers open. If that ball comes out right on time, we had some problems.
All right, let's take it down to the Plains where the Auburn Tigers surprisingly played with the number 2 Clemson Tigers. Held Deshaun Watson, a guy who I think will win the Heisman Trophy this year, held him to a minimal. And, of course, you know what? If Auburn would have had any kind of offense, they would have had an opportunity to really upset this team.
Really, DJ, any kind of offense, and they're going to have to get that quarterback piece settled, man. I mean, from Sean White to Sean Smith to Jeremy, I mean, they got to find out who's the quarterback going to be, and they got to trust in this guy. And they just got to slow it down. It's like, Gus just going willy-nilly here and there. You just got to find out who your quarterback is and get a foundation and stick to everything.
You know what? The football aficionados are saying that, again, this Gus Malzahn's offense, and again, they had a lot of bells and whistles, and they showed a lot of flash and dash with different formations.
Right.
Alternated 3 quarterbacks, had John Franklin III come in, as well as Sean White and Jeremy Johnson. Who does that? And again, no production whatsoever, but they got to do something because that defense they have is a defense that can win them some ball games, and they got to compliment them, and they got to score some points.
They got to score some points, DJ, and Gus just got to calm down. He's a great play caller. I mean, there's no question about that, but to put all your quarterbacks on the field in one series, DJ, I mean, what is that going to accomplish? You can't fool everybody with cloak and daggers. Sometimes you just got to knock some people off the ball, DJ, and get it done. It's real simple.
Well, Gus's old team, Arkansas State, is coming into town, and now again, we know Auburn obviously is never in a situation at this point to let anybody or to look down on anyone. So again, another opportunity for them to get it back on track, to get on the winning track, and I know that Gus would love to do this against Arkansas State.
I mean, really, he would love to, but I think really they're going to work on the things that they do well. This is a tune-up game. You got Texas A&M, you got LSU behind them, so this is a tune-up game, and they're looking at depth, but then at the same time, they're going to play some people, but the quarterback still needs some work, whoever he's going to go with.
And my, when you say Alabama, did you expect 56 points thrown up in week 1?
I didn't expect that at all, DJ, but like we keep on telling, you just don't know their name. They just reload. They got bullets over there. They're just going to continue to reload and reload. I think really the Jalen Hurt piece, DJ, you got to let the kid loose. Now, he's not going to get the keys either, DJ, but at the same time, Nick's like, okay, this kid did pretty good. When you can rush for 2 touchdowns and throw for 2 touchdowns, DJ, and as a freshman, I think as they grow along, and you know this, DJ, in the SEC, that 4th game of the year is usually a big-time game, and everything leads to building up to winning that 4th game, and that's what Nick going to do too.
Well, Alabama obviously scored a lot of points, but the defense was spectacular.
Oh, come on, DJ. Man, that DJ, we talked about this. They probably got the best defense in the country. They have the best secondary in the country, but to break up 7 passes, 7 tackles for loss, 2 turnovers on fumble recovers, 2 interceptions. I mean, man, that's your defense playing for you. Then you throw in the special team piece, DJ, and you don't need too much offense, player.
Well, Western Kentucky's coming to town, and I know Nick's not going to let those guys lay down.
Oh, no, man. They over there practicing right now, DJ. What you talking about? They practice before the game anyway, but that intensity, that passion, working on what they need to get better on. They got a system, man, and that's Nick's system. We just going to keep better. We're going to get better and better and improve. In the fourth game of the year, that's always a telling point where Alabama, whether they're playing Ole Miss or whether they're going to be playing Tennessee, DJ. They're going to be ready to play for that fourth game, and everything will be settled by that time.
All right, let's take a look at our Chick-fil-A picks of the week.
All right, DJ, the Chick-fil-A picks of the week, we got Alabama against Western Kentucky, Auburn against Arkansas State, Georgia against Nicholls State, Georgia Tech against Mercer, Virginia Tech against Tennessee at Bristol Raceway. 150,000 expected to be there. Florida against Kentucky, and Arkansas against TCU. Don't forget to stop by Chick-fil-A on Bradley Park to fill out your Chick-fil-A picks of the week to see if you win a prize from Chick-fil-A.
Now let's take a look at our Black College scores, brought to you by our good friends at Nail and A's.
Okay. Ah! Oh. Hey, I'm trying to be crunk.
C-R-U-R.
Tell them how we gonna go. Tell them why they don't want on. Tell them why they better run.
Truth be truth, the will to win will win. So intimidate your darkest fear. Revive every forgotten fantasy. Set goals you can never reach, then reach them. Count cards to fight fate stack deck. And if you want to win as much as you want to live, you're ready to reign on.
Sports Vision presents the Chick-fil-A Picks of the Week. Every week during the 2016 college football season, Chick-fil-A will sponsor the Picks of the Week segment on Sports Vision. Sports Vision will pick several college football games from around the country for the customers to pick the winning teams. The customer that picks the most winning teams will win a Chick-fil-A platter and a gallon of tea, compliments of Chick-fil-A Bradley Park. So customers, fill out your form and make sure you fill out your contact information and wait to hear if you are the Chick-fil-A Picks of the Week winner. All forms must be turned in by Friday, the day before the game, by closing time. The winner's name will be announced on Sports Vision the following week. So stop by Chick-fil-A on Bradley Park to pick up your form for the Chick-fil-A Picks of the Week.
Why do we have Aflac?
Aflac.
And Major Medical?
Major Medical, boy, yeah! I helped pay the doctor. Ain't that enough for you?
There are things Major Medical doesn't do. Aflac pays cash so we don't have to fret.
Something families should get.
Like a safety net.
Even helps pay deductibles to cover your back with.
Learn about one-day pay at aflac.com/wrap.
And welcome back to Sports Visions. It's now time for our Atlanta Falcons report, our first Atlanta Falcons report of the, of course, regular season. Falcons will be opening up against Tampa Bay, Jameis Winston and the gang. And I know that we have a new, or we hope to have a new and improved Atlanta Falcons football team.
I hope we do, DJ. You know, a more efficient offense would be good. You know, scoring when needs to be scored, getting sixes instead of threes, you know, seeing how the Julio Jones and Sanu piece works out, throwing the ball a little bit more vertically, throwing the ball deep a little bit more. That's what I look forward to on the offensive side.
Last week we talked about it being a pink slip week, and I know that one of the casualties was one of our hometown favorites, J.D. McKissick. The Falcons had to release him, but they did sign him back to the practice roster, so there is hope for J.D. McKissick and a future in the National Football League.
Well, I see him playing pretty quick, DJ. You know, they got some extra receivers, some guys that have been with the Falcons, but I think J.D. is going to be a game changer for the Falcons from that kickoff standpoint. I know they got wings, but I think J.D. is a special player.
You know Julio's a beast, and you mentioned Sanu, who came in from Cincinnati in the offseason in a signing. I do really expect Devontae Freeman to continue on with his Pro Bowl ways. And, again, that's a lot of speed and quickness, a lot of versatility out of the backfield, a lot of offensive weapons. Now, if we can keep Matt Ryan clean, as I like to say, that
right.
means if we can keep the offensive or defensive linemen out of the backfield and keep them off of Matt Ryan, I think we're going to see probably one of the most prolific offenses in the league.
I think it's going to be big time. big-time offense, DJ. If you can keep him clean, Devontae Freeman, the Coleman piece, that's a great duo. They were two similar backs that get up in the hole, that running that read. But I think the biggest thing, throwing that ball deep, got to keep him clean, DJ, to get the ball deep. The Julio and the Sanu, I think he's going to be a big-time possession guy and then catch those short routes and get beat up a little bit and just keep Julio healthy.
Justin Hardy is that slot receiver that, of course, they come in as in the nickel package. However, one thing that I do know is that there is a lot more speed. Of course,
That's right.
Coach Quinn decided that in the offseason he had to get some guys that could get to the football. And, again, it wasn't pretty. But at the same time, he has the guys that he wants. So hopefully you might not necessarily, like you said, we always say, you might not know the names, but when they start making plays and stop getting teams off the field in 3 and outs, we'll want to know who the names are.
That's going to be big for the Falcons defense, DJ. That 3 and out, you got to make that happen. I think they're going to be quicker, faster. I think they're going to have to blitz a whole lot more, DJ. But at the same time, they got to win the games in their division. This is a big game against Tampa Bay. They got to always win those games because, you play them twice. And really, that's, you can sneak in the back door or you can win your division. And I think I heard a quote by Julio Jones this week. They got to control their division, and he's right.
In other football matters quickly here, we do know that obviously Tony Romo got hurt, and he'll be out over half the season, according to the reports. But Teddy Bridgewater got a serious knee injury, and, of course, they're wondering if Teddy might make it back at all.
Well, I don't think he's going to make it back this year. I think he might have a dislocated leg.
And he's tore some other ligaments as well.
Yeah, so I think, the Sam Bradford piece with them, getting him acclimated to the Vikings offense is going to be big. But like I say, when you don't have a quarterback, that's great. But you got to run it back. Just feed Adrian Peterson.
Absolutely. And again, Tom Brady's going to sit it out the first 4 weeks of the season. And I know that, most recently, Tom Brady, they found out that he didn't been playing the preseason without the NFL logo on the back of his helmet. Go figure.
Tom Brady do what he want to do, man. What are you talking about? It's his league, man.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our Crown Royal picks of the week.
All right, this first weekend from the NFL, we got the Buccaneers going to the Georgia Dome to play the Falcons. Got the Vikings against the Tennessee Titans. The Cleveland Browns, come on, Isaiah, against the Eagles. The Bengals against the Jets. The Raiders against the Saints. The Chargers will be at Arrowhead to play the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Buffalo Bills will be playing against Baltimore Ravens, the Bears, and the Texans. And we got the Giants at the Cowboys. Don't forget to email all your picks to Dale Williams at Sports Vision USA by 12 o'clock on Sunday.
Come into Chester's Barbecue for our world-famous mouth-watering ribs, smoked fresh on our grill daily. Or try one of our barbecue pork plates with fresh sides. Chester's has delicious sandwich combos to choose from that are sure to please. We also serve tempting home-cooked favorites. And don't forget to take home your own bottle of great sauce. Chester's Barbecue, serving the best food at the best price. With 3 locations to serve you.
Selection now, saving now, value now. Columbus is Nissan Town, and the Nissan Now sales event is on now. Now, save $5,000 on a new Altima. That's right. Now, drive a new Altima, an IIHS top safety pick with $5,000 in savings. The best time to buy is right now.
Nissan Now sales event. Don't miss it. We'll see you soon. Headquarter Nissan.
Live in the spotlight with Sports Life Entertainment. Enjoy our 50-passenger luxury party buses or corporate coaches. For more information, contact us at 770-989-1340. And remember, it's all about that sports life.
And welcome back to Sports Visions, Dale. I know that it was opening week of the NFL football, and again, college football last week, and again, 2 weeks in for high school football. But, when you talk about a lot of things that are happening, of course, in particular this past weekend, when you talk about what Charlie Strong, University of Texas, knocking off Notre Dame, when you talk about LSU laying an egg up in Lambeau against Wisconsin, I mean, what's on your mind? What disappointed you, and what were some of the games that you felt good about?
My overall opinion of all the games this week, good games, tough games, is that parity, DJ. Everybody's getting better. Everybody's getting good. Even the Tennessee Appalachian State game. I haven't started drinking the Tennessee water yet, But I kind of figured they weren't that good, and I think they were preparing for this week game more so than anything against Virginia Tech. And then the Florida State piece, man. Florida State against Ole Miss. What I saw out of Franche, DeAndre Franche, was big. To be knocked into the game, so to speak, because that last, the touchdown pass that he threw before halftime, DJ, that woke the whole team up. And to see them play Ole Miss, and Ole Miss was putting it on them. Florida State is nothing to be played with. I think Florida State right now, when you say Florida State, you say Alabama and the Houston, the Tom Herman piece. Our good friend Jody Hill been telling us about Tom Herman out there at Houston. I think Houston's for real. So it's a lot of parity going on, man, and no one conference is going to dominate.
Well, one thing about it, you mentioned that, but for Houston to knock off Oklahoma and for Houston to beat Florida State in the bowl game to finish the season last year, Houston is for real.
They're for real, DJ.
And he's the hottest name. Tom Herman is the hottest name in college football probably right now and will be, I'm sure, at the end of the season. A lot of folks have already called him for Les Miles' job at LSU in a dismal performance at Lambeau Field against Wisconsin. Here we had the same situation. Brian Harris, again, I don't blame him so much as the stubbornness that I think of Les Miles not willing to broaden the horizon of his offense. He went back and did the same thing. The same production, and believe it or not, again, you're already hearing some big-time LSU folks already trying to work out a buyout, settlement.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Our big guy, the big swagoo, Marcus Spears, big LSU guy, he's calling for his job.
Right.
But, DJ, you know, we talked about this last year. You're going to have to put that Les Miles piece in the same box with the Mark Richt piece at Georgia last year. Are you tired of average?
Mm-hmm.
They got some of the I always had some of the best players in the country from LSU. It's about time for Les to go, man, and I think Tom Herman might be the leading candidate.
Well, the other part of that is that Houston is expected to get an invitation to the Big 12, so they're looking to add some teams out there. And, of course, they want to get in with Texas and all those folks. So again, believe this: is Houston as good as they are? They don't have to go outside of a 35-mile radius.
Wow.
There's that much football talent, high school football talent in the Houston area. So that sounds like an Atlanta area, Metro Atlanta.
That sounds like Metro Atlanta, South Florida. But, DJ, to have 32 players on your team from the city of Houston, you know, they got some ballers. And I'm telling you, DJ, what I saw on the field, they big, they thick, they're a cross between Alabama and Texas A&M. They're physical. And offensively, man, they are tough. And, you know, like I say, you know, the other teams that we're going to watch out for, man, Louisville.
Absolutely. They hung 70 up in the first week. But before we get out of here, I got to say this about our guy, Gus Malzahn. You know, this is the same Gus Malzahn with the high-flying Nick Marshall and, of course, you know, the same offense with Cam Newton. You know what? Do you think the defensive coordinators have caught on to that particular offensive scheme? They know how to stop it?
Yeah, I do. I think really because at first, you know, he was giving Alabama fits with the hurry up, the fast break offense, and just trying to get players in and out, catch you in a personnel system, not with your best personnel on the field. Like I said, all that cloak and dagger stuff is good, DJ, but sooner or later, you got to get in the huddle and say, look here, we going right here, we're going to knock you off the ball. They're going to have to get back to those old Pat Dye days, Suge Jordan days. We got to knock you off the ball. And all that old flash and dash, hey, man, that ain't going to work, man, if you ain't got the players.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
This is Susan Cooper of the Greater Columbus Urban League. Please join the Urban League movement by becoming a member. Membership is only $50. Our goal is 3,000 people to become members by August 1st and give back to the community through the Urban League. Invest in our youth and donate to help complete summer programming for summer jobs. The Urban League, equal access to equal opportunities, jobs, education, housing, and health, empowering communities and changing lives. To give now, stop by the Urban League, 802 First Avenue, or call 706-322-6840, or go to our Facebook page, Urban League of Greater Columbus.
Why do we have Aflac?
Aflac.
And Major Medical?
Major Medical, boy, yeah! I helped pay the doctor. Ain't that enough for you?
There are things Major Medical doesn't do.
Aflac.
Pays cash so we don't have to fret.
Something families should get.
Like a safety net.
Even helps pay deductibles to cover your back with.
Learn about one-day pay at Aflac.com/wrap.
Smile is the most admirable thing you can wear. And for anyone age 1 to 101, Cook Dental Care has a smile for you. Dr. Kathy L. Cook offers a wide range of individualized, innovative services from basic preventative dentistry to specialized care. We provide comprehensive dental care for the entire family, including pediatric. Insurance, financing, walk-ins, and new patients are always welcome. So for your family's dental care, visit Cook Dental Care.
And welcome back to today's final segment of Sports Visions. And I'm telling you, Dale, when you talk about the golf tournament and all the people that came over to show support, that had a good time, that hung out with the celebrities, that, of course, just told us how much they appreciated it. You know what? I'm already excited to get the next one started for next year.
Oh, this was a great seed right here, DJ, and we're going to keep on watering the grass on this thing for next year. But really, the one next year is going to be really big. But all the support that we got, I think the people at Robert Trent Jones are just ecstatic about what we're going to be able to do in the future over there. And really, when you have the chance next year to play in our celebrity golf tournament, hey, go ahead and sign up. Last but not least, the high school football season is, of course, into our third week. And, we came out in August with our football edition of our magazine. And I know that we picked some of the players to watch. So far, so good. All 12, all 9 players that we had in the magazine are doing excellent. Cam Jesse over at Carver is doing outstanding. Again, Your Majesty out at Spencer. You got Sneed over at Jordan. I mean, these guys are playing some good ball. Ellerby at Hardaway. You know what? And again, I'm not saying that we're the gurus. We just got some good guru friends that we count on to give us the information on the high school athletes.
Well, it's just like going to get you a nice suit, DJ. You don't know what kind of suit you want, but when you see it,
yes,
you know they're good. And when we see you play, and when we stats and numbers are good, but when we see you play, and we can put things in perspective and say, hey, DJ, we got to put them in the next one. So if you didn't get in, please, Mama, stop calling them. We gonna get Junior in. We gonna get him in. We just want to see him play.
Big ups to Jason Gibson, the head coach of Glenwood. He started out the season 2-0, and I know that the folks at Glenwood are excited about what he's doing because with the championships that he's won down there with the Columbus Lions, if he can take that mentality and culture over there with those high school kids over with the Glenwood Gators, man, they're looking for a great year.
They got high expectations. They always have high expectations over there, DJ. And when Jason came in there, their expectation really got high. They want state championships or they don't want nothing.
All right. That's going to do it for all the time we have for today's show. For Dale Williams, I'm DJ Jones reminding you to keep your eye on the ball. Have a great week.
Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you.
Truth be truth. The will to win will win. So intimidate your darkest fear. Revive every forgotten fantasy. Set goals you can never reach, then reach them. Count cards to fight fate stack deck. And if you want to win as much as you want to live, you're ready to reign on.